Have you ever looked at a map of a place that you know well? Maybe gone to Google Earth and looked down at your house from space. These chapters in your textbook about pronouns are sort of like looking at a map of an area that you know well. At least if you are a speaker of standardized English. A map does not go through and prescribe this is where this street should go. This is where that swimming pool is. This is where you should put your trampoline. Even though I can go to Google Earth and I can see all the swimming pools in my neighborhood. The map hasn't prescribed where those swimming pools should be. That map describes it. It tells you the way things already are. The details about pronouns in your textbook this week does the exact same thing. In fact, all of the grammar rules that we've been studying over the last several weeks are not prescriptive. They do not go through and say, this is what you should do. They are descriptive. They are a snapshot of the way the language is used by standardized speakers. Not suggesting right or wrong, but suggesting standardized or non-standardized. English does not have a national academy to go through and decree. We must always use this form this way. We must use these words and not those words. France does. Back in the day of the Three Musketeers, one of the very, very oldest institutions in France was created, an academy to go through and decide what is and is not proper French. It could be mere coincidence that the English language has become one of the world's most widespread languages, whereas France, their language has not. Although it's still the language of diplomacy, there's still all manner of political power attached to it. It hasn't grown. It has not been able to thrive and change and evolve in the way that English has, because English decides that we'll go ahead and we'll use wacky language things. We'll take language from all other parts, and our textbooks, once changes to the language become standardized, will reflect those things. There is no academy to decide how to use emoticons properly, and yet in a decade, it may very well be the case that there'll be a chapter in here suggesting that it is improper to type all in caps unless one is wishing to express that one's shouting, for example. Standardized usage on the internet hasn't hit this has not hit mainstream. The same way that pronoun use, as described in your work, in this textbook, has hit mainstream. It is perfectly appropriate to say, I got them their cars at an auction in some areas of the country. But we're looking at standardized English, we're looking at the way that most speakers use this language, and therefore as you are investigating these sections of your textbook that deal with the very fine details, do not be concerned with all of the exact kinds of pronouns. Do not worry about trying to follow these rules as if it is a prescription of right and wrong. Look at this as a description of the language that you already know and love. Use it to investigate and discover new things about your language that you kind of knew all along was there, but you hadn't really seen brought out in the same way. That's what this textbook does. Is it shows you a great snapshot of a language that you already use and use well.